Uh-oh. Hello, this is the Playground Experience. I now have here my co-host, April Williams,
Woohoo!
and my
Aloha!
and myself, Divine Sunshine. Just in case you don't know me and you new, we will be up and running next week for the new playground. Yeah, that's me. Sounded like a ray of sunshine herself. So yeah, we will be live on next week on the Playground Experience until then. So, but right now it did not let us allow us to come on live yet. So, but we would definitely be. That's interesting picture. We would definitely be on live next week. So we're going to talk about the call to love. We've heard a lot of people saying about this union. We know we've heard a lot of people saying about the shadow works that we're actually doing. A lot of us has been experiencing a lot of clearing. I know with me, I mean, I've been nonstop. If I have not been bodily fluid clearing out, and then I have been sleeping a lot as well. Just a lot of sleeping, just like energy, like so a lot of processing, a lot of astral traveling, a lot of dream state traveling, a lot of getting things and shifting things out energetically, I can tell. And so with those things, is I can tell there's a process when we're talking about a call to love where we are definitely clearing out and making the space when it comes to love, because all this stuff cannot continue to house these energies. And so it's a lot of shifting going on. It's a lot of things process as far as this union energy or whatever is union can come in various shapes and forms or sizes, which would be union with yourself. You really come together with the divine masculine and divine feminine energies. That's why we have to get rid of the shadows. So again, it's the so within, so without. That's coming up. There's a lot of as well, and she was telling me about she had picked up in the collective about this chain gang, and her and I talked about it in dialogue back and forth about this, that some of us are still being chained to these old feelings, these old patterns as well, but it's not everybody, it's just a few. And that is something that we've got to find ourselves to unchain. So even if it's just a few of us, this kind of a few of us that's really heavy into the chain gang, which is really being connected to these things that no longer serve. We can't say, hi, y'all still going through it, I'm finished with it. It's still, when I talk with Benita going back and forth, it's still a part of us that's still connected to either it's the past, the childhood wounds, those things that we still haven't yet let go of, even the hurt they're giving to me, even the hurt from where the divine masculine or divine feminine has hurt us. We still got to kind of work out that piece where we truly come to this true forgiveness of what has occurred in order for us to be able to step through and level up. So rather we allowed ourselves to do it, us coming and admitting about our part that we had did as far as in it as well. Those are some things, some hard truths, like April and I, we talked about earlier, some hard truths that we've got to really see ourselves when we talk about the call to love, because we got to also look, I think a lot of us are not really taking that time out to really take that introspective look and seeing. And that's why we have this hard push for the shadows. They're saying, here, I'm putting it in front of your face. This is what you got to deal with. You want this union with yourself, or to be able to go to the next level and go to wherever you want to, but you got to deal with these things. So April, what's happening with you? It's right, because she's the one that was inspired by the title of Call to Love too as well. So what's going on with you? What you picking up?
Okay, I'm about to put something in I'm about to put another channel. I'm about to put Sean's channel in the chat, just so everyone can get a feel for this. He went through and did this really deep meditation and clearing energy for twins, so that they can step more into energetic union. And the beauty of this is it taps directly into those sore spots, directly into the bruises, so you can like really cleanse and get the understanding of all the perspectives, including your twin's perspective so that you can have a divine compassion approach and feeling of it. Now, the mental, what really happens with the brain is you build so many. Okay, so excuse me. How thoughts work? Your brain, it sets a pathway of neurons, right? So the more you think something, the deeper and wider that pathway of electricity becomes to that thought. If you are replaying a situation over and over again in your brain, you are building a giant freeway that makes it so much easier to get to that aggression or that fear or that regret or whatever it is that you're carrying, than it does to another pathway of forgiveness, another pathway of where you're going around that thing that sets up your nervous system that starts dumping cortisol, right? You don't want to go into stress. You don't want to go into fight or flight. You have to build a new pathway. What's beautiful about Sean's intensive meditation is that, copy, here we go, is that it makes it a whole lot easier to clear out. It makes it a whole lot easier to see. And a lot of the openings and stuff that he does in that. Now, I suggest using headphones because parts of it he gets really into channel mode where it gets a little bit quiet, but it's so deep. It's such a deep, beautiful, easy clearing for those of you who are just looking to explore. Now, for those of you who are the trailblazing, know how to go into your shadow with straight, with your battle the battle ready to go, right? Because we were going to war. We're going to war for love, right?
We're going
Going
to
to war for
war.
love. Going
Got your
Rocky on
warriors
this. We're
loose,
getting
man.
serious. We're getting serious about this love, right?
Where's my thing?
Um,
Like Matrix. Oh,
exactly, exactly. Now you have learned to dance with your shadow, but there's parts of you that you haven't really necessarily acknowledged that you kind of need to balance into, that you need to give patience for yourself for because you built this pathway, you built a freeway, and now you're like, I need this freeway isn't actually going to through the place I want it to go. My tires are getting jacked up, like like all kinds of stuff is happening. My windows are broken because I keep going through this path. I'm getting beat down. But you go this other way, you can actually go into love. You can go into self-care. You can go into all of these other pathways, but you have to build it. And so, yes, it's here. We're doing it. We're doing the work. And it kind of depends on you how easy or how hard it is. We determine how stubborn we really are in the long run, right?
true.
And we know and we know that we haven't been putting ourselves in the proper vibration because of the results that we have received up until this point, right? We may have had some respite or some little breaths of air where we don't always feel like we're drowning in it. But that means we're not really looking around us and building our raft based on all this stuff that we do have, because we do have good pieces within that relationship. We do have good pieces within ourselves that we obviously weren't acting from, right? When we went into wounding with our twin, if we're in separation, even when we come together and you look at the interviews of the people who have been in together, they go through some stuff, but they understand and have that divine love and divine compassion to hold each other in that space. So if you're holding onto that path, that place that you built your freeway to, you're holding your twin in an idea that no longer exists, believe it or not. You can keep going on and on about how so and so hurt you in the past, or so and so look just like somebody, so and so forth. But if you don't look at the core wound of that, the very deepest core wound of it, that's actually the reflection of the reflection of the reflection, and you say, oh, okay, perhaps I was projecting some ideas. Perhaps I was projecting like the deepest core wounding of myself. It had nothing to do with the other person, it had to do with myself. And then you go through another forgiveness process because you want to see how you've changed from there to where you are at this point. And that leaves room for the other to also have changed, right?
Right.
So that's where the forgiveness comes in, because you're not holding your breath thinking this person's going to be the exact same way you left them, because you're not the exact same way. You can't step in the same river twice, period. So this is that deep flushing, that call to love, that call to resonance. That, and we have an event coming up. What's this? What's this? What?
What, 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 what?
Doubling down
Going
on love.
down the 6th. I forget. I keep on not putting the daggone picture on there. Maybe when you're talking, I can hurry up and do it in between. But yeah, so
Yes.
the doubling down for love. So make sure, and I got to plug it and put it on the community tab too as well. That is going to have a lot of great speakers in it. A lot of things about us falling back in love with life in every aspect in every area. For us. Sean is going to be there too talking. So he's got some great things that he's going to be collaborating with that. But it's going to be on 6/6 at 2 p.m. Central. So make sure that you are going to be in the places. Again, it's another free virtual event as well. Spirit has said that you make it free. So that way is no excuse for you to say that you didn't get the keys, nor did we not put it out there for you to get the material so you could be able to work on making sure you get into that space of love, which is very important. I know even with myself, I've gotten to really understanding that, you know what, in the beginning, when we talk about this twin flame thing, we had really, and probably some of us are still in that role, because there's a lot of things that we're talking about, these roles that like they say, that's got to die down. They brought it to me, it's brought to other people, in which we're saying the divine feminine acts this way, the divine masculine acts this way, and that's your role and that's my role, and we stay out of each other's way and we stay in our lanes, and understanding the blending of it too. My thing is, again, for the divine feminine energies, we have put off and not liked the role of being the one who is in the driver's seat, that's really driving it spiritually. That means within yourself, whichever way dynamic that you are. The other day I had a situation with the DM, and I just told myself, I said, listen here, your role is right now, you know where he is. Your role is to be the person who is driving this connection. So you need to kind of like man up, put your panties on, and just go ahead and just dive deep into it. I had to change my mindset on something, and once I changed my mindset on the situation, I was like, no, I am ready. I took more of a positive stance on it. Things started to shift. Most of the time, I would be kind of nervous about things that occurred, but that time I can see where they're saying about my strong energy helped it filtrate and go over on their side, which caused it to come back to me, and it made an event manifest. So my thing is that we've got to get kind of out of this. If we talk about this call to love, we got to get out of this thing like, oh man, I'm seeing like the person like, oh man, I got to leave them. Yes, because if you wanted to go in the direction that you wanted to go into, or you want things to manifest, then you've got to put on the boxers or the big girl panties and say, okay, I'm going to get strong in my reserve into this call of love. This is what I actually want. No holds bar. Put all this other stuff when I feel things coming to me, like she's saying about instinct. That's another thing that I have been internally working with, which is again, when I do the MAT program, one of the classes, they help us to understand it. They tell us all the time that we need um, to rebalance our instinct. And that's going back to what April was talking about, that you create those neural waves or those neurons or whatever in pathways in your brain to the point that you can't see anything else. And then the instinct kicks in. Oh Lord. And then when the instinct kicks in, it goes into the ego, because the ego is like, okay, instinct is to protect. Ego is like, I'm going to protect. Then you get all this extra dialogue going on. The instinct is like, you're going to fight or flight, surrender, you going into all those kind of instincts that it is, run away, hide, want to vomit. That was interesting, found that out. Any of those things that come along for you as far as your instincts kicking, and when it gets to that point, you can't be able, it's very hard for you to kind of reset yourself back into alignment with that love, because by that time you are off the field. Like you talk about the expressway, you're going 90 miles per hour and it's very hard for you to hit the brakes. So when we're in that point and we're talking about the instincts and the brain going all the way, in order for us to be anchored into the love portion of it, we've got to get a real good handle on the way we react to the trauma of being in a relationship, or the traumas that's happening around that base that. Because if we don't, that's how I was able in that moment to manifest that, because I felt myself about to go into trauma. But this, but they did this, but these other things and these other voices. And I had to just say, stop. Okay, ground into it and ground into this energy. This is what we want. We want this to manifest. So just hold the space and then release it. I think a lot of times when we talk about this call to love, we call it in and then we get kind of scared. And then we're like, okay, wait a second. Well, maybe I'm not too sure about what I just called in. Maybe no, this is not the right time. We come up with all these different kind of excuses, but we have to understand, whether it's a person, place, or thing, we have to understand that we're getting pushed into now. It's now is the time for us, and this is one thing I'm realizing. A lot of us are kind of like stuck in our little ways, and it's like, I like how April say, either you're gonna get yourself unstuck or a spirit gonna step in and do it. And when you do it, it's gonna blow the sucker wide open. The way you like, wait a second, I should have did it on my terms. I don't like when it's on your terms. But you did tell me a while ago to do it that way, but I didn't choose to do it. So when we talk about this call to love, it's gotta be a true openness. And like we had talked about earlier, really truly being open to it, not that faker on the surface say, I am open. But then when the moment comes arise and you have this opportunity sent to you, then it really comes telling time if you really truly is open and you say that you are. So I got a chime, so it's divine.
So I would like to add to this, you don't have to go 0 to 100 real quick, because spirit will
No.
do that to you. Spirit will take you, and it seems like it's a negative oscillation sometimes, and however you correct will get you back on that, on that what you want. But you can baby step into it. You can say, I will accept love, and I will accept love. Just show me how to begin to accept love, so that I can do it concretely with my twin, right? Um, Men, I feel like that masculine energy can just sometimes it seems a lot more kind of patient in a way. Females have a nurturing quality, but a very impatient nature, I think, right? We want it our way. It's going to happen this way, right? And so men will like, okay, well, we're steering the ship, right? You only have to steer the ship really hard when you suddenly have danger approaching. Suddenly, something has to be extremely corrected, right? So that's the tower moment. Something has to be extremely corrected, or I end up crashing and having tower in and having to survive it. There's also the, okay, well, we're planning to get from A to B. Let's do these small course corrections along the way because we know
Mhm.
we're going to get there. But you have to know where you want to go. So even if where you want to go is scary, right? It's super scary because you don't know, you don't know that you don't know exactly what that's going to feel like to be fully supported and loved, and you know and fully adored and like worshipped, I mean in that sense, right?
Mhm.
That's really butt puckering. That's how we make our diamonds, right? But you have to be able to be willing to step toward it. So today I will accept 3 smiles, and well, smiles are a little crazy right now, right? Can you accept 3 smiles? Can we get a smile? Only if you got one of them clear masks.
Right, right,
Don't
right.
even
Then
get. Don't
the ones that
even.
got a smile painted on it, it's like, that's kind of creepy.
It's like, Saturn, did you really have to take my smile?
Yeah, yeah, that's a
Neptune,
little
what's up with this?
creepy.
But
Right.
but just living in a space of being open to love, living in a space where you're being open to joy, where you see let's say, an example of another couple, an older couple or something, just fully just holding hands or doing something cute like that, you know? And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I'm allowing that in my energy field. I'm allowing myself to see and be exposed to this type of love. And I accept that. I'm willing to accept that I'm worthy of that as well. And then you start to open up more and more. And then maybe someone sends you some kind words, and you just sit with those kind words and you allow them to kind of grow, and you allow your heart to speak and allow yourself to kind of call in more and more abundance and love. And you can do this with anything that you're manifesting, anything that you want to create. You can step it into your vibration. Or if you're completely open, call it in and have it right away. That's kind of how the blowout happened when a lot of people met their twins. I feel like they were like, oh, whoa, that is all the things I've ever wanted and more. And then they're like, but I've never had it before, so I don't know. Am I worthy of it? Push. Well, my dad said, or like so and so was supposed to love me. Dad, mom, so and so was supposed to love me like this, but they never really could. So I don't know if I should push, and that kind of keeps happening because you're searching for a category of this love and it's beyond the love you've ever had. So let's just make a call together. Let's just do it together, shall we? Let's do a meditation. I am
Yes.
feeling it.
All right.
Take a deep breath with me. It's been a long time since we've done this. Ah, just you can look around. You can be doing stuff while you do this. Just breathe. Don't hold your breath.
I was posting about the doubling down. Okay, now I'm ready.
Don't hold your breath. Hold your heart. Okay. Let's just feel your body. Rub your hands together, wiggle your toes. You can tap your heels on the ground, or dance your legs around. Put your hands on your thighs. Just get to feel yourself. Feel your body. Feel the sacred vessel, and breathe in its beauty. Breathe in beauty, sacredness, wholeness, balance. We're so abundant. Just rub your hands on your belly, even if you're feeling disconnected from your belly, because that's where a lot of us tend to hold our judgment in our past. Rub your hands up your chest, up your throat. Allow yourself to this is where you resonate from. Everybody let out a sigh and feel the vibration in their hands of their sigh. Ah. Put your hands a little bit over your heart. And I want you to let out another sigh. So you can feel that vibration of the sigh. Rub your hands down over your solar plexus and let your sigh out. But I want you to breathe in deep in your belly. Fill up your lower belly, your upper belly, your chest, and let out with a sigh. Ah. Let your shoulders collapse. Let your lungs empty. And I want you to realize that you felt that vibration everywhere you've put your hands. You've realized the power of your own voice. And here you are in your body, feeling brand new, feeling connected, realizing that you're in the vibration of now. Ah. So I want you to envision that egg or that bubble around you, that bubble of light, that bubble of protection. It goes from like a shell from gold to rose gold to silver to a violet. And you're there in this bubble, and with every breath you breathe in through your crown, in through your feet up towards your core, and then you're breathing in and out. Your vibration goes with every breath. In the universe deeper into you, and the earth makes you more manifest. And out, your breath echoes into the space around you. In, the light and that fire from earth start to touch into your root, and your crown, your third eye. And out, your energy goes out and starts to reverberate back to it, what you're calling in your field. And you breathe in, and the light goes down from the crown to the third eye into the throat, and then up the root into the sacral and solar plexus, and then out. It breathes back out again. And in, like the reverberation of a pond or a fish tank. Let's say a fish tank. That's a better visualization. So the resonance goes in, and the wave goes out, and the wave comes in. And this is your calling. This is your vibration. So I want you to put your hands in prayer position over your heart so that your shoulder blades open and that the front chest opens. Just breathe in this space and breathe out. And in from heaven and earth, all the way through the chakras to the heart. And back out again. Take a deep breath in, and I want you to feel into your heart. Feel into a space where you have been wounded. Feel into the space where you are guarding and protecting. Breathe that space in, and I want you to still feel your body, and I want you to allow yourself to release that attachment to that pain. You see it, but you're no longer attached to it. And filling your lungs up and then breathing out and releasing that attachment to the pain. Breathe in to the beauty and the sacredness of that moment. And breathe out, releasing more of the pain. Breathe in the light and the love and the creation from the universe and the earth. And breathe out. You are no longer in that time or that space. Breathe in. You are now, and the universe wants to bring you what you really desire, what you really love. And allow the universe, the earth, and heavens to bring it to you. And breathe out. And then breathe in more trust and abundance and grace. And breathe out worry, attachment, and anticipation of a fear of something that doesn't exist. And breathe in that grace and love from the universe. And breathe out the call to love. For you are worthy. You are more than worthy. You are more than you ever dreamed possible. I want you to just imagine yourself like a petal or a leaf falling from a tree deep into your heart. And your heart glimmers with gold. It echoes with rose. It begins to attract its healing. It begins to attract its deepest desire. And with no attachment and in total grace, breathe in, start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, your knees, your head, Roll your shoulders. Breathe into your third eye. And come back. Here we go. And tap your sternum. Okay. Because we have
Yeah.
a it's 3:13 here. You have an alarm going off randomly at 5:13. I don't know what's going on, but I'm so glad I ended then.
Right. Yeah. That was my text message notification. So I guess I was like, yay, from the universe.
Somebody got that message.
That's somebody got that message. Yes. Yes. Oh, hey, okay. Did I say hi to everybody? All right. We are on and popping in the Sunshine Lounge here as well over here. So is there anybody I'm kind of looking at seeing, since we're saying the call to love, is there any kind of situations? Because, really, this Q&A was really, like I used to say, live Q&A is for you all to ask questions while you got the experts here. So, yeah, it is that we can at least share about what some things it is. So, are there any questions or anything like that too as well? Because that's really, instead of us always on my way to sleep. Okay, Charm, she on her way to sleep. Somebody saying night, night, night. All we'll finish watching the replay. Okay, all right then. So it's on and popping, but people are leaving the party at the playground. But is there any questions? I don't know why they just came to me, but is there anybody that has any questions about anything that's going on currently with them, and you would like some helpy with that? Don't be shy and speak up in the Sunshine Lounge there as well. But that's beautiful, because I was just saying, I said I felt like we needed to do a meditation. I said, but I shall not push it. But I felt like we needed to.
I got the message. I got the message. It's all
You
I'm
got
saying.
the message? Okay. As it texts again, the message again, text message notification. Spirit said, did you get the message? Yes, I think she did. Oh no, the meditations. Oh, okay. Oh no, okay. On that one. So yeah, so that is pretty much I see about the call for love, because most of the time when we do that, it's a wrap for the show. Right that. But that's why I say, do you have any questions or anything like that?
Well,
Anybody know? Yeah.
I'm devil's advocate for nobody asking, but I feel in the asking there.
You angel
Um,
advocate. We don't do no devils on this.
angel.
No.
Well, the reason I'm going to say devils for this part of it
I just tease.
is because there's blocks in the heart chakra. There's blocks in the solar plexus. People just don't necessarily want to believe their own power, or believe their own gifts, or believe their own skills. And we're here to tell you, yes, in fact, these things are real. These things are happening. And you know the resistance because it comes in your body.
Yes.
It'll also come as distractions. And you, having made and created your children, will come as your children. And so you putting that love and that time into you really affects and reverberates through all of this existence. And you'll see where you're resistant, because you'll not want to be doing something and find a million excuses as to why you cannot. And
True.
it's usually a lot of perfectionism or all these judgments that have nothing to do with the actual now.
That's true.
So let's just be real with ourselves. Let's just be real. I used to say, people lie to themselves first. Before they
Okay.
lie to you, they lie to themselves first so they can be convincing of that lie.
Oh.
And whatever lie you're going to fight for, you get to keep, right?
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I'm not worthy of this. I'm not worthy of wealth, right? You can keep saying, you might start with the whole affirmation of, I'm abundant, right? But then you're looking for ways to prove that you're not.
Okay.
You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? You get to train yourself to be in alignment. And it's training. It takes time, because it took time to get you out of alignment. the only way we come in here with a complete clean slate is at the moment when the sperm hits the egg. And even then, our parents are still predetermining that based on their emotions, based on
True.
location, based on all this stuff, right?
Right.
So you have been created to have and designed in a specific way. And you chose it as a spirit entering in to your your mothership, for lack of a better term. I think it's actually the best term ever. Your mothership. So that's why we have a lot of core wounding, because we're like, oh, it's you, mom, you did this, or oh, it's you, dad. And it's like, oh, it's me, I picked you. And once
Right.
you get through, and once you get there, you're like, okay, well, if I picked it, I can now pick something else,
Right.
right?
Right.
So who's ready to pick something else? Who's ready to actually dial in on love?
I want something else. But then you can also say some of that stuff again, yeah, going back to the womb, is some of the stuff again about trying to the call of love. Some of that stuff is ancestral. You know, if you got some things that, because I know when I did the class on the Patreon, which was really good for me to get the understand about the ancestors. Some of that stuff is like, okay, if the way of loving, or if you have been, let's say, through ancestry, have been deserted as a lover because of maybe some things that happened in history, because of your culture, or your race, you know, maybe loving wasn't, loving came at a price. And so there you have that passing on from generation to generation, and then within you you come along, and that's kind of like in your, I call it the spiritual DNA, passed on the ancestral stuff too. So some of that stuff you're kind of fighting things that you don't know of, and that's something that you got to be able to clear as well when you talk about the call of love, you not being able to really hear the call of love, right? Because maybe the trauma that has been experienced in your lineage as well too.
Well, well, as soon as you start to take sovereignty back, right, and autonomy back, it's not that the story goes away. It's not that the energy just completely disappears. It's how you relate to that energy. It's
Hmm.
how you associate in the world with it. Because if you know you're wearing some glasses with that are streaky and dirty, you can say, okay, I got this. I got to figure out how to either ride with this or take them off and slowly clean them, because it's
Right.
etched deeply, right?
True.
And in that way, it's a matter of discipline, sort of. I mean, I guess you can flow with it. Some people do it with a lighter heart because discipline is a heavy word, right? But if you're like actively trying to self sabotage or something like that, or if you're actively avoiding a situation, you can then
Hmm.
put yourself in that situation slowly, gently, taking the time and the steps that you need to feel safe and comfortable there, right? It's not always about shocking your system and getting it done right away. If it's been etched in for 400 years, it
Yeah.
might take a little bit more time. Yes, there is spontaneous healing, but you actually have to get yourself in mode to receive spontaneous healing, because we're guiding what we receive. We're saying, oh, yes, we want, but we only want it this way.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think currently another thing is this. This I keep on getting pulled back to this theme of self sabotage. That's another word that they keep bringing to me. And I think when we talk about this call to love, is another thing of how we get there, and then we just kind of just like, I'm like seeing a person just taking all the papers and just kind of just messing things up just on, and it's like, okay, but it was really nice. You know how long it took me to categorize everything, and then for everything to just get in line, and then when the thing does come for you to do the big presentation, you just come there and just take all that paperwork and just throw it all up in the air and just in your kind of way. And that's what I'm feeling. A lot of us, we got to get that goes back to what you're saying about the trauma, that goes back to saying about the hidden panic and everything else. I'm also seeing that that's going to be a thing that we're going to have to deal with when we talk about this call of love when it gets there. That we don't self sabotage it. We keep on telling ourselves we're imposter, what you call it, imposter syndrome. That's so interesting because my kids they keep on showing me in the class. about Among Us. I'm not familiarized with it, but these kids, they love anything that's got that game that's talking about Among Us. And they got this thing about imposter, all these people playing these roles as if they are, and Mr. Cheese are really your friend. Mr. Cheese is supposed to play the role like he's stupid. But then at the same time, Mr. Cheese is very smart, very cunning, and killing people on the game. And so a lot of times when we're talking about these imposter, we might get there and then we kind of like I said, we might not believe in ourselves about that, like it's not true. What's going on? He's not really, he hasn't learned. He's just putting on a good act. And this is what I'm thinking about that, when we do get that call for love and we do answer that's something that we're going to have to kind of put in check too, as well, that we don't allow that self-sabotage, or we feel like we're imposters, or this is not true, and we act one way and then we're going to end up doing something else, rather it's us or the partner. That's another thing that I think that when we talk about this call to love, that we've got to get under control too as well.
So, Charm Timeless said something really interesting here, talking about ending karmic cycles, right? So, what's really cool is Sean does that in his, like everything we talk about, Sean has done in this twinning. So, I highly suggest you go back through the chat, and I'll post it once this is posted.
Yeah, post it again
so that people can access it. And so, and it's nice because it's from he's one of the few, or he's one of the divine masculines that women can hear, because we have a lot of resistance, right?
yes.
So, or right above it, my last message, it says the name of his channel. So if they type in the name of his channel, they'll find it
Okay,
too.
let me keep on. That was it right there.
So
Okay.
karma is kind of always a thing, right? Everything you do, you will have to do something in. It's kind of like energy is not created or destroyed. That's a law of. That's one of those laws of physics, right? But in terms of our karma, it's about creating better karma, right? So if you're acting out of your space of victimization or having some kind of trauma, right, you're going to attract a reaction that is based on that trauma. If you're going to start now creating more space where you are acting out of above that trauma or through that fear, you're going to get stronger and have the results of that. I liked what somebody had said. They said growth has a lagging indicator. So right now you may be in the muck, but you've spent so much time underneath growing and expanding and strengthening, so that when you do come out of it, you're going to show much better colors. However, if you're still putting yourself in the old situations, doing the same thing and expecting different results, not only are you insane, right? Because that's the definition of insanity. Not only are you insane, but you're not going to get the results you want. And ultimately, you can work your way backwards, right? If you want to be, let's say, a top CEO of a company that you make, you're going to envision that live, see what that is, and then you're going to start to call in all those pieces energetically, but you have to be open to it. You can't say, I'm going to be a top CEO, and then turn around and then spend all your money doing nonsense, or waste your time binge watching shows. That's not going to lead you to the success you want. But if you are, you're going to start learning from other leaders. You're going to start finding out who is, they call it competitors, but it's more like just other people doing the same thing, because somebody else's progress does not take away from your own. Somebody else's successes never takes away from your own, because it's you. You have your own flavor, you have your own style, and that's what's going to resonate with people. That's what's going to get them on board with you. But are you on board with you?
Right.
And that's where we stop. We get out of our karma loop and we get more into our dharma loop, right? Because karma and dharma, people misuse karma as if it's something that just goes away, or it's something that happens so it won't happen again, or something like that. But karma is what you put out has something come back, period. And you just start putting out more things that are going to benefit you, like taking more time to yourself, reading articles or books that you really want to read, spending some time looking at yourself in the mirror and saying positive words, you know, whatever it is that's going to build where you want to be. If you want to have self-confidence, you have to be nice to yourself. You
True.
can't pick yourself apart. You can use sermon and take in, like, you know, critiquing, but you can't beat yourself down every day and expect you to love yourself wholeheartedly. You can't constantly replay toxic memories if you want to be open to something new and loving in the future. So, yeah.
That's something, yeah, yourself or listen to other people. It's like,
Yes, that's
okay,
true. That's
that's
true.
not helping me get out the loop, hearing you and your story over and over again. Oh Jesus, get me off this ride, get me off. So yeah, so you got to kind of watch the people too, that's going along with you on the ride and making sure that they're not keeping you in that constant loop of that same energy over again, especially when you're trying to listen to the call of love, because then you won't be able to hear it either plainly. That's another thing I would say there, to watch the people that way too. And not even people, they say even watch the things that you're opening yourself into, TV, whatever like that, whatever things that you're exposing yourself to as a source of information. Just watch that too as well, because it'll keep you in that loop, the constant loop as well on that one. Okay. Is there anything? Nobody had no questions. What I did see up here at the top that was pretty good too. Saying T gradually learning what it means to have space. Okay. What is this? What is TJ? She was saying, I feel bad for wanting and trying to speed up or assist in my, was that spiritual growth? My
DMs, her DMs, spirit
DMs away.
awakening.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Um,
the thing, it's really funny because we think we got to put energy towards them to make them progress. And what I've actually found is when you put energy towards yourself, it speeds up their progress faster than if you're trying to handhold them across, energetically, handhold them across the threshold. Because you are linked, it just drags them. but
right.
it's but it's cleaner and more on point, because when we do this codependent type of behavior, codependent type of energetic awakening, then we're actually just perpetuating um, what we don't want, that will pull in triggers. If that makes sense. Is that
Yeah.
clear?
Yeah, and so I'm in agreement with you about that. I found that again, that goes back to what I said at the beginning, where we got to go on ahead and take that leadership role, which is again leadership role, which means within ourselves, to go on ahead and start the healing process on ourselves. I think a lot of times when you throw that energy out there to it, I don't know what it is, but to me, and I don't know what it would be spiritually, but it gets misconstrued. That's my best way to saying it. When you're thinking it's
Oh,
outside, because some kind of way when it reads to them on the other side, it's like you're putting your energy on somebody else and you're saying, no, I'm really throwing the energy to you. But somebody, it doesn't get well received on their end. So that's why it's best that you do all the loving and express it to yourself, and they'll get it that away. It's like, it's almost like they're showing me infinity side. It's like you're doing energy outside of the infinity, inside the loop of the energies that's going between you and your person. And when you actually try to do it that way, it goes, it doesn't, for me, from my experience, it doesn't end up too well. When I do it
yes,
toward
it's
it does that. I don't know. It causes them to take that energy and then throw it to the other person, and he's like, "Okay, that's not how I wanted that to end up. I got to reverse it." So it does better, like what April says, and I can tell you a living testimony. When you do it to yourself, you're showing love to yourself. You're giving time, pampering yourself. That stuff. ends up for them to come and attract more to you than you're doing it the opposite way where you're sending. The only thing that you can do, and I say will be energy wise, is like protection. You can do a shield of that, because like the other day, something I was feeling very tired and I was like, where is this coming from? And then I kind of tapped in and seen, I said, okay, this is coming from the DM. And I shield him with the white light, and instantly it stopped. I stopped feeling tired. And I said, oh, I see what the source of it was. Now that's the only thing that what I see, I purposely make that energy for him. But otherwise, that if I would do it, and I shield myself too, but I did us both. But when I send all that stuff over there, like, ooh, that away, it does not, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Not with the intentionality. I didn't see that. It goes in the opposite direction. It's something like I said, it's outside of the union. It's not us throwing energy inside the pot. If I could explain right.
Charm Timeless has a pretty interesting little. It's there's a question mark, so that kind of
Yeah, I got to read through all this. No, it's fine. I feel myself wanting to separate myself from family and family events. Everything started to become more loud, uncomfortable, and no energy to wear a mask.
This is
No.
real. Like, I don't think you're going overboard at all. It might be how it's coming out of you, right? Because you are kind of, if you're doing a lot, like if you're juggling a lot of trying to keep people together and hold all these emotional, so on and so forth. Sometimes you just need that time to yourself so that you can gain your strength. And yeah, I mean, I would still want to do some family events, but I think honor what you're experiencing, honor what you're feeling. And if it's saying, I need to separate, I straight up did a lot of separation for family and all those things. Not so I could run away from it, but so that I could explore who I was or what my energy was without so much chirping. I mean, sometimes people talk bubbles. My sister said, my sister introduced me to that phrase, but where they're just talking and things are coming out, but it's filling up the space where you can't even allow yourself to feel your own love again, feel your own worth and your value. And sometimes you have to take that time apart to strengthen. How do you feel about with the feeling, the calling of the self to the self?
Yeah, well, for me, well, when we talk about family, of course, yes, I feel that because sometimes um family has a way of kind of putting you back into that niche, like, okay, I'm progressing, I'm ascending, I'm on a new level, and they have nobody knows how to push your buttons like pow, family. I'm sorry, it's like I ain't that with no more, and you gotta show them. Sometimes family members, some of them are kind of energy vampires. They kind of suck. You can feel it, taking energy from you, telling stories, different things like that. And especially you being empathic, you can tell the energy doesn't vibe right. Sometimes you want to kind of, like, to me, if you're cocooning, you want to kind of pull away because right now you kind of dealing with some stuff and you don't need any kind of other energies to be interfering with it at that point. And so it's okay, you do it all, and it's like I can hear somebody saying, spirit guy say, you do it in love, you do it all in love. And still I can love you at a distance. I might not, I'm like April, maybe not all of them, because in some point you do need your family. But at the same time, you know what, if you're feeling a certain type of way, honor yourself with that. If you feel like, hey, I know something about it, I can't be around it, maybe it's a certain person or something like that. That's kind of almost like with me in my organization. I kind of try to go back into it, but somebody's like, I ain't that person no more. I push myself. They asked me to come back and do something like, can you speak? Can you do an MC for us? And I'm like, okay. And then when I get into it, I'm like, I'm drained. Okay, be quiet. You ain't got to tell me. Anyway, so I went and I'm like, I'm drained. And I'm like, okay, somebody, we're not on that same energy anymore. I won't say that we won't come back to that again, But something about it, it feels like my sister had told me. She said, you know what, I think they prepared you for where you are, and I think right now where you are is like, okay, I just want to be like a birdie and just kind of like fly my wings. And then when it's time for me to come back, and if it's something that I feel, I'll find myself gravitate back to the organization. But right now, that's how, and that's kind of looked as a family to that organization. So I can understand how you can say, at this time, it's like something about it. I can't put my finger on it, but something feels like I'm like a puzzle that's like I'm trying to fit, and it's just not coming together. I'm sorry, it's not. And I don't know, it's nothing about them personally. It's nothing about, well, something did happen. But anyway, I've let that go. But it's not something personally that's saying why I can't find myself. I try to get myself back into it, and then I find myself pulling back out and say it's something about we don't resonate. I fell out of alignment. I'm seeing like planets out of orbit. We used to orbit each other, and something about that, the orbit and the pull, we're not orbiting each other anymore. So I can't vibe with that energy anymore at all, right now at this point. And I won't say it now. I always say, like my mom said, up until now, that's it. So you might be feeling the same way with the family again, and I wouldn't feel bad. Right now it's about honoring self. It's about honoring what your soul wants. It's about honoring the heart. And so at this point, again, that's called union. So if you go in and you push yourself to go into it, that's kind of like sending the message to your DM self, or yours, whichever way. Well, that's outside, so you're doing more so to your DM self, or to your divine feminine energy as well, that I'm not listening to you. I'm not honoring whichever side this is coming from. So I'm just going to keep on pushing myself to do that. That's not inner union. So if right now your spirit's like, hey, I something about this family thing, I can't do it. Your DM spirit is like, okay, I can't keep on pushing this because the ego say I need to be a part of the family. I should be doing something with the family. Then you have to get to the point where you're saying, okay, we got to honor it. Your ego is like, I can't be with the family no more. I can't push it no more. Your leadership, I don't want to do this anymore in the material world. I don't want to vibe with this. So your spirit inside says something about spiritually, we're not clicking. You come together in union with that. Say, okay, for a while up until now, we're going to kind of pull back. And then when the time comes, and it tells me in signals, we'll come back into the family fold. So that's my sense on that, as well as far as what I've taken on that. You'll find yourself ebbing and flowing just like the ocean. I come in, I come back out. And understand it's okay. When it's time for you to come back, your spirit will tell you, okay,
Yep.
let's go back into the fold.
100%. 100%. She let a little bit more know about it, but she really says she's been talking to more strangers just because they're more open, and
Yeah,
the family kind of puts her in a box or what they used to know. And quite frankly, sometimes we're spearheading, right? So when you are brand new doing something to somebody who's never experienced it, um, they're going to come at it as you're crazy, this is awkward, fall into
uh-huh.
this old line so I can feel safe, so I can feel
True.
comfortable. But it's not always
Right.
about
I
that.
like
It's not
that.
always about that. You know what I mean? It's
True.
like if you think about the nature of being born, it's kind of uncomfortable, right? You had your food, water, everything was on tap. You didn't have to do nothing. You could just cruise and grow, right?
Can I
But
go
then you
back?
get out. Exactly. You get out into the world, you're like, wait a minute, there's air and stuff, like something's touching my skin, and oh my goodness, I gotta survive, and I need to eat now. What is this feeling I'm having? And then when you take your first dump, oh my goodness, right? You just so frightened.
Right.
Like, what is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
You?
I'll be with you in just a moment, baby.
Mhm.
So it is kind of it's new and it's uncomfortable. And ascension, especially when you're ascending at a different level than people that are directly surrounding you, can be really, really uncomfortable. So you don't have those conversations with them. You have the conversations with them that they can understand. You have
Right.
that energetics with them that they can understand. But when you work on yourself and you start to feel and love yourself, you can actually change the energetics with them, especially if they're in your bloodline, right? There's this really beautiful alchemical magic that happens when you go deep and start healing those things in you.
Oh yeah.
Now, the one thing is, it's kind of it's more than two-folded because I like to say there's several ways to get to the number nine. And anything, a myriad. The worst thing that could happen is everything falls apart because it gets crazy because you've triggered them now because you've healed something that they haven't been able to move past. Right? So that could go totally freaking haywire sometimes. But
Yes.
it can also go beautifully where they begin to open up and then miraculously within them, they've cleared some heart space. They've cleared some mental space where they can then fall back in love with themselves. Because really, we only receive the love we think we deserve. And we're only willing to receive it. So when you're taking this time and this reflection space away from a fam, you're taking this time to say, who am I really? What kind of love do I really deserve? And then
Mm-hmm.
and then will I allow myself to receive it? Right? And then you say, oh, well, maybe I can't receive it because so and so told me this story or so and so said that. Well, guess what? You're now there and you can say, I know I deserve this love, and I'm sorry that they don't know they deserve this love.
Yeah.
They don't know that they can talk kindly to themselves and still
Mm-hmm.
feel successful or abundant or whatever is that next stage. So it gets really, really beautifully interesting. So now I did myself, or the universe more or less, flowed with me, and I came completely very far away from my family to a point where I was able to just be me. Like I even shed everything. Like I got divorced, all kinds of stuff happened, and it was just me in the world. Who am I? Now I had this whole depression part where I felt like I was gonna die. Like seriously, I remember lying there in the tub, like, what if they found me dead? I don't even have a cat to eat me. Like it was
Oh,
just silly.
Jesus, Lord.
I went really dark. Okay,
Okay, yeah, you sure did.
but I was like, you know what though? I'm here for a reason. I know I'm here for a reason because the earth brought me here as a gift through my mother, and I chose this whole experience. So what is it now? What's the truth now? And then you think about all those near-death experiences, all that other stuff. You're like, you know what? That's proving why I'm still here. So where's that fire? Where's that passion? Who am I, and what? How can I be an instrument or a service of God or the universe? You know, however you want to put it. How am I an instrument? Just how do I reach Dharma? How do I become an ascended master? Right? Because everybody has the potential to bring in these higher divine forces. They just need to get over their humanness. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
that humanness is associated with ego and pain and things that you think want to hold you back, but that's all societal programming, right? We're in a stage now where kids are allowed to see superheroes and all these other things, right? So now they know they can be super. You're not fed so much the it's gonna sound really tough, but they're not fed the story of the fear of Christ, right? We don't, some people are afraid to shine because they don't want what happened to Christ to happen to them.
That makes sense.
We allowed for bullying, we allowed for all kinds of things to happen, right? People still think they can get away with it. The United States is a very interesting country in the sense that it bonds together over things they hate, right? That's the foundation of it. But now we're bonding together uh, um, to see the benefits and beauty of each other, right? That's the shift in the paradigm. That's the shift from um, masculine kind of fogginess to divine feminine, right? So now we're entering this mode of self-acceptance, of everything being beautiful and nurturing, and then we are starting to filter out the things that no longer um, serve us as a global community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you don't want your mask anymore. You don't want to feel like you're being covered or denied what it is that you really feel. And I honor you for acknowledging that and taking the steps to take those time for yourself.
Yeah. And I would add on to that is like don't be afraid of the blow up. I've had the same experience with family members and trying to tiptoe and say I'm pulling back and doing all that stuff. And then sometimes you just got to really confront them, you know, and just kind of exactly say what's on your heart or whatever it is that you two got to kind of confront, have that confrontation on too as well. And so I would say just not because even after we got through that impasse that we had that after that, the relationship got better. I think it was something that was already building, and it just needed to go had an explosion so we could get past that. And so don't feel bad if that time comes around where some your family members, you have that like, what's going on with you? You acting out there. You don't want to be around your family. You got to explain to them, and it causes that back and forth. Be able to, in that moment, I was able to stand in my power saying, hey, this is what's going on with me. This is what I'm expecting. It might not came as easy flowing like that, but it was like, and from that point on, they had an understanding of who I was, and I had an understanding of where they were coming from too, as well. What you got here, Charm Timers? You say yes. I remember here once before, and I was reacting out of emotions, the ego. I guess now this time around, I like out of recognize this. What can I do different this time around? Yeah. Okay, yeah, and so that's what you have to realize. What is it this time? Sometimes you just got to hit that, take that bull by the horns, and you just got to say, ah, this is it. Instead of kind of trying to say, I'm gonna do it divine. Like, what would Christ? What would Jesus do? And then sometimes you just gotta say, no, I got to do what Charm said to do. Because I'm about to get you head on. Because I can't keep on pussyfooting around this. I got to go ahead. Well, maybe that's divine sunshine. I'm just gonna go and then you go and we just go together. I'm like, I can't take this no more. I don't do this. I don't do this stuff. I just don't do it. I got to just go ahead and hit it just head on. So and then after a while, it's like, okay. Like we know what we argued about, but then at the end of the day, it's like I gotta understand. I knew we found respect for you, and you got new respect for me. You telling me about where your boundaries are, and I get where your boundaries are, and so we've been operating from that point on. So that's it. Yes, Amy, you want to say something?
There's a lot of beauty on the ascension journey, but there's also a lot of ugly stuff. And it's okay. There's some like illusion that it's all about pleasure and pleasure seeking.
No.
Um,
Yeah,
you
this
know,
ain't Janet Jackson pleasure principle.
well, this is the call to love. We're eventually
Right,
gonna
right.
get to pleasure. We're eventually gonna get there, but you got
You
to
know,
be open enough to get there, right? It's not a superficial, it's a lifelong orgasm that happens
yes, yes,
where
yes.
you are feeling just sensual by being you, while you are just allowed to be you without the judgment or the attachment.
Unapologetic.
And yes, unapologetically you, loving
Yes,
every aspect of you,
yes.
and how different and strange and awkward and beautiful and sensual and all of these things are going to come together. But until that part happens, you know, it you get to figure out why you think you're so not, right? XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay because we picked that up from other people who felt they were not XYZ.
By Z, true. That's true.
And we want our power back. But the only way to get your power back is to figure out where it's lost. So as you bump around in the dark sometimes, remember that you're always sending out a signal, like that meditation we just did. You're always sending out a wave of vibration.
That's that
And
call.
and you want to be able to receive when it's actually before you.
Yes, 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 yes. So if you want some more of this good stuff that she's throwing out there, pay for this goldenlight.com because I felt like you just ended it. That was a nice red bow on this nice show. So all right there. So go over there to made for this goldenlight.com. Tell us about what some good stuff that's going on over there on your end.
Well, I just put up my Yoni Steam package on the site. I've got my full roster up there in terms of if you want energy healing with me, if you want, I'm doing a beta class right now, a 14-day energy healing and chakra
Dynamic, like
balancing course. It's really awesome. It's really simple, and I'm doing my best to do it less than 15 minutes a day. I'm gonna start to
She
put my
sure does.
workouts
It's
on there
short.
now.
Yeah. You can start your
But
day off with it and then go on about your business. Literally.
and you really only want to take it piece by piece as we realize that this journey is just that's it's an adventure, but this part where you're getting all the basics, it's like math, right? You have to learn numbers first,
Right.
right? That they even exist. Then you got to be able to count them, then maybe addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and that's kind of what I'm doing with this whole 14-day big program. It's a very
Okay.
simple, easily digestible program. um,
It is.
and that's on there. That's only going to be up there for a limited time before I change it to the more advanced program. Let's see what else. I also have my Yoni Steam stuff. My Yoni Steam package that I'm offering, where I do distance guided Yoni Steams for 1, 3, and 6 month programs for
Okay.
you to go on that process within your own awakening journey.
I use that
And
too.
it's legit. Like Yoni steaming is
All
legit.
right, so I grab up. I love it. I'm like, give me that. Hey, give me that. So I am a user. Hold on, say, let me take it back now. Hold on, wait. I heard somebody like drugs.
A proprietor. You know what? I used to be into that. Like, there's a song, because I'll tell you my age when I tell you. But Nine Inch Nails, The Perfect Drug. And that was the "You Are the Perfect Drug." Anyway, I was very into that. Leos
Okay.
always want to be that it to somebody, right?
Oh,
So I want to allow people to be that it for themselves and reconnect with themselves. And the whole point is to teach you to fish so that you can continue um, just being the abundant, beautiful you.
right.
So
That's true.
the packages are up there. I also have some really nice stuff if you're working on your nutrition or your
Meditation.
business. Got some stuff. I got some really great meditations. Um,
Meditation.
but but that what I really highly suggest is because I'm starting a new program for the Double Down on Love. I told Miss Bertina a little bit about it, but it's a Yoni Steam self love package, and it's legit. I did the first one, and I was like, "Oh, it's on, it's
Oh,
on."
it's on in the other stuff.
So
Okay, let me be quiet. I'll talk fair about that. Okay.
it's on, it's on.
Just be getting
So
more drugs. No, I'm just playing.
So remember to go ahead and go to divineunisoul11.co and get your tickets for the
You
six
don't need
six
to go there.
event.
Remember, it's free. It's just free. It's open to the public. You just make sure
Oh,
you
it's just going to
sign
be
in.
on YouTube?
Yep, it's gonna be on YouTube. It's just free, free, free again. So there's no excuse for you. Just make sure you mark your calendar for 2 p.m. And so that won't be will be open. Now, if you want the upgrade package, where I'm gonna do like I did last time, get a workbook that'll be for them to use on the side if they want to be able to go and do that. Keep my feet on the bone strap down. Anyway, that you could be able to get that workbook as well. And then I had like a program that goes along with it. That's an upgrade. That'd be $20, like I did last time. They had a workbook that went in there and it followed along with each thing that each person was talking about. That was created too as well to go with that. So that will be for the upgrade. But otherwise, that it is free, free, free. For you to be able to go do that. Let me see. For me, what my thing is that I am doing. Let me see. Do I have that? Did I tell? Yeah, yeah, I did that. Oh no, keep on going. My podcast change. My podcast contest. If you go over to any of my podcast things and follow me, either on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and I'm missing somebody. Oh, Podbean. If you go and you follow and you put your comment below on any of the, because I'll get it on any of the videos, and you let me know that you went on and you have followed me, and let me know which one you followed me on. I will enter you into the contest so you to get a free MAT technique, either emotional healing or either pain. That's a thing where you go into your body and see where you're holding the trauma in your body, and to help, I will help to heal you and to go in there and help you with the healing process of letting that trauma go that's housed in your body. So that's one. That's a free one. So you have to go in there, and then I'll do a drawing on live on May 31st, and I'll let you know who has won that. So make sure that you enter into the drawing. By doing that, you can comment on this video, comment on any of the videos, because I always get comments. They'll tell me when I get those, and let me know what you and which one that you have actually signed up for and got followed me as far as on the podcast. So I have that. And don't forget also the Patreon, Raise the Sunshine. Make sure you sign up for that. I got different tiers for different budgets, so you can be able to do that. It's all in there with reading, specialized activities, meditations, and classes that are in the Raise the Sunshine Patreon. So that's what I'm doing as well. You can also always go to Ashanti if you want a past life regression session, or if you want an MAT session too as well for the trauma and pain. You can be able to do that. And I am still doing readings too as well. You just go over there to DivineUnisouls11.co, and you can be able to get your reading too as well if you want that. All right. Also, remember to click like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you can be able to know once we'll be up again next Friday. We should have the playground should be moved over there, but I think even next Friday I'm gonna simulcast it still until we kind of really understand to segue and move everything over there to the playground experience channel. But I also put that in the community tab so you know specifically where to go. I've seen a couple of people have subscribed because the subscribers have went up, so thank you to those who have went over there and have done that, so you're up and ready. And I'll be adding on some more, so this one I'll add over there to that one as well. So I'll start uploading more videos as we go. Okay. All right then, April, get us on out to here.
Okay, so I really wanted to just say that one of the best ways to, simplest, easiest ways to open yourself up and get into alignment with your heart's calling is a dance party. So I'm gonna do 30-second, or no, a minute and a half dance party. Here we go.
Okay. Let's do it.
Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up.
Can you hear it?
Level up, level up, level up, level up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Level up, level up, level up.
Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's feeling it? Friday fun. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Running man.
In the building, everybody's hands go up. And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Woo! Because all we do is win, win, win. Put the hands in the air, let them stay there. Win, 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 no matter what. Because you know what? That's all we do. Okay? So, in that essence, in that little dance party, that's the vibration you get to manifest what you really want to bring in. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I want to win.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Because all I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Yes. I mean, you with the family, charm. I mean, you with the family. I'm gonna win. No,
So stay blessed, stay golden, and remember, you were made for this golden life.
all right then, and as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste and namago. Mwah. Love you, and we'll be talking to you real soon on the next Playground Experience.